let's go on with this and have a look on the things in here. So the production assist update 1.11 is a big one, as we are also covering here in this deep dive a little bit what happened between version 1.10 and 1.11 in here, so that we're getting a calculation over there. The first thing that we will have a look on is the mod truss in here with this, because this is actually a really interesting thing to do. So when you're using the mod truss with this, the advantage of the mod truss that you have in here is actually it allows you multiple connections in here with this. So you see there are multiple snap targets with this. So, and if you going in here, build something like this, and then, well, attach it like this so that they're close to this, you can generate structures like this in here with this. If you now start in adding hoists with this, so one hoist over here, one hoist over here, one hoist over here, one hoist over here, and let me turn on the real-time calculation with this. Now we have this, you will see that it will calculate it in here. Like where we have it like this, okay, you will see that basically it's only calculating the right and the top, but it can't really get the clue on what to do with the middle one. This is because they don't automatically know this connection in here with this. So with Production Assist 1.10 and now also in 11, we have added the option to grapple this kind of things or to add the connections. So if you're going in here, click on here, here, and here with this, you can go with this, you can select those objects, and then you can say selection, and there is a grapple selected structure. If you're doing this, it automatically will insert a connection between these two, and you will see that it gives you the calculation result for this stuff here as well, so that you're seeing the connection over here. Same thing now for this one. So it's complaining that there are no supports on the system. So select these three things, go to selection, and then you can go to the grapple selected objects. Then it will tell you also in here that this is now connected, and you now can normally calculate the bending moment and all of this stuff from this kind of thing. That's basically the calculation in here with this. Is there any questions about this so far?
Are there other work cases for the grapple command? So does it work with different structures as well?
It works for all the structures with this, so it is not really a problem if it doesn't really make a difference if it's a normal structure, the other one. So for example, if you have the American trusses, so for example, the Tyler trusses in here 12 by 12 with this bold, where we have it, and here with this Tyler AV 12 by 12, you can go in here with, I need to disable this, and also can do the connection in here. So if you, that's now it's doing, so going down like this. So normally if you now want to do the connection in here, you can do the exact same thing with this. So you are inserting hoist with this in here, and then you're selecting this, this object and this object, and then you go to selection, grapple selected structure, and then it also does the connection over here. And you see it's also connected with this kind of thing in there, so that this is going on. Did this answer your question?
Yeah, sort of. So what's the difference between the truss joint and the grapple hook?
So this allows you to connect them like those. So it still does not prove, for example, in here the grapples with this, but for the mod truss, basically, it allows you to screw it in there. So it allows you to connect these kind of structures that have multiple like connection possibilities in here. And that makes it really easy to do this kind of things.
Yeah, okay. For the mod truss, it's clear like it's a stiff connection, but what type of connection is it assuming for the lower use case?
For this one, it's a grapple. So basically, it only hooks them in. So it is connected with this. So it's hooked in with this with the normal grapple thing. So the grapple, so it's not really that common in grapple truss in Germany, but it's something like this. So basically, it allows you to connect one truss with another one.
Okay, gotcha.
To do this, and this allows you, so it doesn't prove this, so that's something that you still need to do on your own, but it allows you to get the loading point results for this. Yeah.
So it's a single point attachment, sort of.
That's right.
Okay, thanks.
The next thing that we're going to do is have a look on the MLT truss with this. MLT truss. So a typical problem that you have from time to time is that you want to curve something in here. If I'm going like this in here, so having this thing, it's sometimes a little bit challenging to curve these things. So when you're doing this, you can go in here on the connection part with this. And then in here, you can curve it by the degree that you have in here. I've set it to copy and duplicate it with this so that you're doing the curve structures in here. Same thing in here. If you're doing this with the curve structure, I don't want to copy it in here with this midpoint. I wanted to curve it by maybe like 5 degrees. So have it like this. So now it complains that there are 3 different structures with this. So if you're now selecting these 2, there's a function that is called curve selected structure. If you're curving this in here, it allows you to selection curve selected structure. Yeah, so now you see what it's doing in here. It's basically creating a connection between of these. Now these are connected in here with this. So all of this goes with the extend magnet structure start and end. So if I'm going in here and type in like 1 meter with this, you will see it actually extends the structure a little bit. So 0.5, no, we need 0.05, something like this. So now these 2 things in here are connected with this. If you then go into this and add somewhere of the hoist with this, so 1, 2, 3 in here, you will see out of the box, this will calculate with this and actually give you a calculation result for this, even for the curve structures without doing anything with this. For the bending moment in here, the MLT truss can take bending moments in different directions with a different height. So if you're bending it up, it can take a different load when you're bending it down. That is something that you need to consider in here with this, so that you actually can do this and can calculate it. The next thing that I wanted to show you is the new beam force simulation that we have. I quickly show you for what this is. So if you're drawing some kind of pre-rig in here, move this to the right high of 15 meters with this, press OK. You can import this into production just by clicking on Vectorworks integration, import structural members. That was possible before. Now you go in here and add ground support attachments with this in here, and then click 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what you now have is basically the rigging structures in here with this. If you now going into here and, for example, add a truss, which is going below, add the hoist that you need for this to create, yes, okay, at the hoist that is actually connecting this to the roof with this. So let me quickly select these 2 things, chain lengths. Like this, you see that actually you're inserting some load in here and that it's connecting to this. So it shows you how much load goes into here, but it's really challenging to see how much load is at this point in here. So with the new update, what we've created is that you click on show shear force and then show max values in 3D. And then out of the box, it shows you the shear forces in here. So you see in here, you're actually inserting 1.3 kilonewton, well here, 1 kilonewton with this value. That's one way of seeing. So if you have like a venue plan with this, where you actually want to check how much load goes into the roof, this is the way to go. And this actually allows you to calculate it. Is there a question about this? No, perfect. Then let's move along with this. So one fancy thing that we have been doing is you have now new PDF settings in here. So if you go in here into the settings with this, we have in printing a completely updated control over the formats, and you even can create different formats. So for example, if I set this to modern gray, I have in here the different permissions for the headers with this that I'm using, for the table definition that I have, and then if I change it, for example, to modern blue, I do have a blue thing in here. If I change it to gray, I have a gray change in here, or modern orange, and I have it in orange with this. This is then applying to all the paper printouts that I'm doing with this. It's a nice addition in here, just that you know that you can define it like this in here. The next thing that we have been doing actually is quite nice. So if you drawing a truss and placing fixtures on it. With this, those fixtures, and I go in here, for sure can be now cabled with this. Let me quickly turn out the error labels in here with this, so that we have it like this in here. So where do we have this? I'm going in here. So I need a distributor object with this. Then I can go to the distributor object, search for the plug box. And then I can use, for example, this plug box and enter it in here. And then just as I know, I can patch these things in here now. So by patching this, what it automatically is doing, it's aligning this. And in addition to this, it also finds me the cable path. What is new now, if you do a cable connection for this, for example, you could add a DMX splitter in here as well with this. So you're adding a DMX splitter to the thing in here with this. Then you have the DMX splitter, and then you can go into here and say, hey, I want to connect the output 1 to the mega pointy. Then I go to, only one should be selected in here. Then I go to the mega pointy in here with this and say the DMX out should go to the other one. And then I go into here and say the DMX out should go to the other one. So what this is doing in the background, it's automatically creating a patch sheet in here. So you already know the electrical patch sheet in here. So it shows you the electrical connection that these things have. For example, it shows you how long the cable is that you had attached and this kind of stuff. And it gives you this. And then if you go in the data view, you also see this kind of things in here that this is doing. The interesting thing is it's also doing the power connection, also the cabling in here. So you see, you need, in order to go from here to, let me select it from here, you need a 7-meter XLR cable, and then going on with this. And if you repatch something with this, it automatically shows you this information in here. So how stuff is connected, and now it can switch between data and the electrical view with this. One thing that we've even made a little bit better with this in here is the inventory view in here. So if you go to the inventory view and go to the cable list, it automatically gives you a cable count list of all the cables that you are using in here with this. So you see 2 meters from Shukos, 2 pieces, 2 meters XLR5, 2 5-meter XLRs, 1 5-meter Shuko in here. And you have your cable count. And every time you're now adding something with this, it automatically will update. So for example, if I'm moving this fixture a little bit in here with this, well, you see these values automatically change depending on where you are with this in here and giving you a new way of calculating this. An interesting thing that we've been doing so far in here with this is the data calculation for Hoist with this. So by default, if you're in here, actually it only can calculate you this data tag in here. But this is sometimes a little bit limited, so people tend to use the data tags with this. So where do I have the data tags? I think they're in here, and then they have the data tag in here. So if you then go to the Hoist data tags with this in here, and for example, search for, we just use an ID field and I'm connecting it to this. And if you then running a calculation for this, you see it will color this on the workload. So if you start and adding here more and more load with this, 500 kilos, enter 1, 2, 3, it gets red at some point. So this is thing in here, and then we also can use the data tag to do this kind of things. The first question when we implemented this, so it was a user request that we implement, is how do I disable this? Well, the answer to this is you can go to the Vectorworks integration in here, and in there is a disable the data tag integration with this. So if you're disabling this, then by default, it will not color anymore with this. In order to reset the coloring, you need to go to Tools, Utilities, Reset all plugins, yes. And this was something else. I think you need to double click it, go into the data layout, okay, exit it, and then it's updated. And now when I'm moving it and I've disabled it, it will not color it anymore with this. There are 2 new settings also that we've been adding with this. So one is in the general settings. This allows you to disable the auto grouping in here. So if you have disabled the auto grouping, by default, it will not create assembly groups for all of the truss lines. sometimes this is helpful with this. The same thing goes for the structural settings. Let me go into here with the truss crosses in here. So if you're generating the truss crosses with this, actually the truss crosses will not automatically be generated. Sometimes there's also like this, if you have really complex stack structure with this, and that definitely makes a lot of sense to do this kind of thing in here. So when you're calculating a truss, for example, for the American, or for some American, there's a deflection limit. Sometimes it's also helpful to do this for normal trusses, or well, for European trusses, not normal trusses in here. So if you're going in here and doing the calculation for this, we have added a new menu command which actually allows you to define a deflection limit with this. So if you go in here into the settings, you can go in here and say, hey, I want to have a deflection limit by 200 still. So if you're adding this, it will automatically check if the deflection is in a specific range with this. So now if I'm starting to add more and more loads with this, you will see that actually also the deflection limit in here is giving you feedback on how this is loaded and how this is bending and how this is working with this. So if you have a use for this, that's actually a quite interesting thing with this in here. So that's we going in here. An interesting service that I want to point out for you is our calculation service in here. So when you're going in here and click on request check structure calculation, actually it will check how much it will cost to verify this by our engineers in here. So how much money you need to spend on this in here to get it working with this. So that's these kind of thing with this in here. Normally, so if it's something small, so something like this, normally the turnaround is like 3 hours or something like this, at least on the same day. If it's something bigger, obviously it will take longer. If there are questions, we will contact you, but that's a nice thing with this. The especially nice thing is that you get a quote up front with this, so that you actually can see how much time you need for this in order to get this working in here with this. Last thing for today, then we are almost done with this, is you now also have the option to disable the cable loads for specific layers. So if you, for example, have a pre-rig truss that don't get any cable loads, you just can go in here and type in that you don't want to generate cable loads for this. So this really helps you to organize big pre-rig drawings with this. So let's keep it short. It's good weather outside. Are there any questions about what I just showed?
Yeah, I would like to ask some for the cabling tool. Are there any limitations on what type of elements you use for this? So just pick from the production assist.
So
tools
it reads. I show this real quick with this. So what this is doing, it is using the production assist geometry system for this. So if you go into a symbol with this, so indeed defining resource. So if you jump into here, this hoist basically contains of a support, which is the rope, and it has an electrical object in here that basically where we have electrical and data that shows all of this stuff in here with this, so that you actually have the calculation results for this.
I mean, in terms of power supply objects and data supply objects, distro boxes and stuff. Are all the Vectorworks elements working by default, or do we use a production assist object?
So it's both is working. So you can use all the distributors that Vectorworks offers, and they just work because of the GTF format.
Okay.
With this. The other thing with this is the production assist thing. So the GTF definition that is inside the distributors and Vectorworks do work, and also the production assist definitions do work as well.
Okay, thanks.
For the data cabling, is there only X layer, so DMX, or is there only more than EtherCon, and is there the possibility to give IP addresses and something like this in the data plan?
Yes, so for example, if we want to add an IP address to the hoist, I would go in here, add an electrical geometry to the hoist. Say it is an data input directional, and I tell them it's an RJ45 piece with this. I click on save and edit with this, and now this has the RJ45 with this. If I'm expanding it, I can type in an IP address and I can type in a universe. So if I'm typing in here 255 or something like this, 8.8.8.8, enter with this. So if you now get into the electrical view, into the data view, it will show you the IP address in here with this. So that is also working with this. You can define your own connector templates that are in here. So there's data connectors and electrical connectors, and then you can do it like this.
Okay.
That's pretty neat. Just one thing for the data tags. What type of data can be shown? Like, it's the same in like in the motor info label field, or?
Oh, the data tags. In the data tags, you can display any record that is in Vectorworks. It's a really nice system. It's quite complex with this, but it's a really good tool for documenting anything that you want with this. So if you want to show the high hook height of this hoist, you can create a data tag for this.
Okay.
Okay.
No questions at the moment.
Then, thank you very much for your attention and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.